Hi, today I have for you a video all about our homeschool style and how I plan and how I schedule and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned. Okay, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Tiffany. I'm a homeschool mom of three kiddos. I have an eighth grader, a fourth grader, and a preschooler. We have always homeschooled. Um, so from the very beginning, so we've been doing this a long time, and I will say that my teaching style and our homeschool style has changed. Um, and how I plan and how we do everything on a daily basis. It has changed and evolved so much over the years. Um, so I guess we'll start out with um, kind of our style. We're kind of eclectic. Um, I would say kind of I don't even know. Like we do a lot of book work, but that's what my kids like. I think they, both of my girls anyway, really like the structure of having a workbook, having um, it laid out in front of them, knowing what they need to do. I think they enjoy that. Or maybe not enjoy it, but like that's just how they work and what works for them. Um, the only thing we don't, my oldest is doing astronomy out of a textbook with a workbook and stuff this year. But so this is her first time ever doing anything like that for science. We've always done unit studies. We have been using Sassafras Adventures for on and off for a few years, and that's just a read aloud book. And then we've done lap books with it, and this year we're making nature cards to go along with it, so incorporating art. So that's kind of the thing we've always done for that. And up until last year, we did the same thing for history. So last school year was the first time we started using an actual history curriculum for either one of the girls as well. So yeah, we've been kind of eclectic and but we've been using so like I said, for science we do like a read aloud, and we do a lot of read alouds. We do a lot of extra read alouds, even in with history and stuff like that. And just I'll throw in other read alouds and stuff. So that's a big part of it, is books and living books and things like that. And we do a lot of that. So it's not just all book work. Yeah, so I don't know how my son's going to be right now. He actually does enjoy working in a workbook. That's just because his sisters do it. So we'll see as he gets older, if that's something that works for him. And I'm willing to do what works for him. So as far as teaching preschool, so my oldest, I was a preschool teacher when she was born. So I kind of just took that into teaching her, and that was still a lot of play and like crafts and things like that. And then when my second was born, and when she was going through preschool, she saw her older sister doing workbooks, so she wanted to do that and wanted to like kind of follow that. So now my little guy, he likes that stuff, but it doesn't keep his attention for very long. So we've incorporated a little bit more. I'm really inspired by like Montessori and even some Waldorf ideas and things like that. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I, you know, do more research into that? I think when my oldest was younger, and had invested in more of those products and stuff like that. So at this point, I'm not, as much as I want to do more of those things, and I think those things he likes and work for him. Financially, I'm not going to invest in a lot of that stuff. At this point, he's our last, and so, um, and I don't think for us doing that fully would work. So yeah, so like I said, we're just all over the place. We're eclectic. We do what works for each child, for each subject, and it's ever evolving as the kids grow, as they get older. Obviously, my oldest now, she's in eighth grade. She's starting to work more independently. We have a few subjects we do together, but she's doing a lot on her own. And I still work with my 8-year-old a lot. And obviously the preschooler, I have to do everything with him. So that kind of leads us into planning. I don't plan. I used to plan when we did unit studies and when the kids were younger, and we were doing a lot more hands-on type stuff. And like I said, putting unit studies together and stuff like that, I had to do a lot more planning. I don't do that anymore. We have now the curriculum that we've been using, mostly master books, but we're also using some IEW. Everything is laid out. There's a schedule in the beginning of the book, and we just follow it. You do this lesson. The next day we do school, you do this lesson. Whether that's the next day or 3 days later, whenever you get to it. So so I don't plan anything anymore. Science, I kind of plan. I go through, so like I said, we read Sassafras Adventures, which I still need to do like a whole video on how we do science, but we read a chapter. So like at the beginning of the year, I flip through and like pull out any like picture books we're going to look at or any other additional resources, and kind of plan out like what chapter those are going to go with. But other than that, I don't plan anything. And even so I can see, so right now we're doing botany, so like whatever plants that chapter is about, when we're reading that chapter, we look up those pictures of those plants, and my girls have been painting them or whatever it is, on little like nature cards, so using watercolors. So even though it's very minimal planning, I am a planner at heart. I love to plan. I love to plan even things I'm not gonna do, like imaginary vacations. And I love planning parties. And I could sit and plan an entire year of homeschool and then never do any of it. But so I used to plan a lot of stuff, and then we wouldn't get to it, and then I'd be frustrated with myself that I planned it and then we never did it, just because I don't know, like we just didn't do it. And so I was always getting frustrated with myself. So probably last year I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. I just find it frustrating. So I guess I kind of do like reverse planning. A lot of times I'll write down stuff after we did it. I never write anything down that I'm planning to do. Or I may make maybe like a list of things or ideas I have for maybe one of the girls is learning about something in history, and I know we have a few resources for that. So I'll write those down and say, I want to add in a couple of these books or this game or whatever. And if we get to it, we get to it. If we don't, we don't. I try not to put that much pressure on, like, this is our schedule. This is our plan. We have to do this. And it's more of a list of ideas. So yeah, I don't plan really anymore. I do have a planner, but the same thing. It's more ideas. I do keep track of our days, days we're doing school. I try to get 180 days in, or around about that. And that's just because most of Master Book's curriculum goes for 36 weeks. It's 180 days. So I just kind of keep track of the days that we've done. And also we typically do like a 6-week on, 1 week off, kind of schedule, but that changes. We had actually planned if we had started school when we normally do, it would have worked out to take off the week. I guess it would have been the week before Labor Day. But we started school earlier than normal this year. So we're actually probably doing about 7 or 8 weeks of school. I'm not sure, I don't remember. And then we're going to take off that week because that's when our local public schools go back to school. So we're going to take that week off and hopefully get to do some fun stuff, maybe go to the beach, and things like that while hopefully a good amount of kids are back in school already. So yeah, it changes and it depends on when the holidays are. Like we always take the week of Thanksgiving off. We take 2 weeks of Christmas. We take the week of Christmas and then the following week up till New Year's. And then other than that, like we kind of just go by the 6 weeks on, 1 week off, usually. And that doesn't say that during that 6 weeks we're working every day. Actually, so far this year we've done, let's see, we have done, actually I don't think I marked it. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of school. Yeah, we've done 6 weeks so far. And we're going to do 2 more weeks before we take a week off. And I think we've done 2 weeks that were actually full 5 days. And I'm okay with that. And especially at the beginning of the year, I'm like, just take it easy. Because once winter hits, we're home all day, every day for weeks at a time sometimes. It feels like. So we are in the Northeast and it gets cold here. And it snows and I don't want to go out. I hate the cold. I also hate the heat, which is why we start school in July, because I want to be inside in the air conditioning, not out there. So it's actually really beautiful out right now. It's like 70 degrees. But anyway, so yeah, we are very flexible in our schedule. As far as the year is planned out, we typically start sometime in July, usually end by the end of May, maybe the first, second week of June. Just depending, and that depends on my oldest. Basically when she's done with her math curriculum for the year, that's our last day of school. Because that's her, I don't know. And I don't know why we do it that way. That's just the way it works. I'm like, well, when you're done with math, we're done with school. So that's just how it's worked out the last couple years. Like that's the last thing she has that's like, that she needs to finish in a year. So I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos. I will show you, I guess, our 7th grade end of year curriculum. I'll put that card up here for that. So you can see why, like, because some things we carry from one year to the next. We don't finish it, so we just keep going, like history, her writing curriculum, things like that. And I'm just not that worried about whether it gets done in a year. Next year, when she's doing high school, that'll be a whole other story. We will be more on top of that. But for now, it's fine. So yeah, so that's kind of our year, my basic planning, scheduling philosophy. So as far as daily, we don't have a schedule. We have a kind of a flow, a routine to our day, kind of. There's no timing. Ideally, starting school at 9 o'clock would be ideal. And every once in a while that happens. 9:30, I'm like, yes, we're doing good. Sometimes it's 10 o'clock before we start school. No, none of us are morning people. It's just once everybody's up, I try to get them moving as quickly as possible and get breakfast and, brush their teeth, get dressed and everything like that. I don't necessarily make them get dressed every day. As long as they brush their teeth, brush their hair, I don't care if they get dressed unless we have to leave the house, obviously. Like today we need to go to the library and we may go to Target. So they do need to be dressed and dressed appropriately to leave the house. Okay, so a couple days later, I'm trying to film this video. I just haven't had a chance. So let me finish up. So like I said, I do have a planner. I'm going to show you kind of what I do actually kind of plan, and how I keep track of like days and stuff like that. Before I do that, I will say that we live in Connecticut and our homeschool laws are there's really none. If you have a child in public school, you do need to send a letter of withdrawal. All you need to do is state that you are withdrawing your child. I'm not even sure it's required that you say that you're homeschooling or what your plans are. And the laws basically state that you need that children from 5 to 18 need to be educated. It gives you a list of subjects. Let's see, I have a little list here. So it just says parents are required to instruct or cause their children to be instructed. So it doesn't say how. It's either put them in public school, put them in private school, or homeschool them. That's it. It is suggested that we file a notice of intent stating that you intend to homeschool your children for the school year, and that's done on a yearly basis. And once you do it one year, you don't have to do it the next year. There is no requirement. But if you do submit a notice of intent, you can be subject to having to submit a portfolio at the end of the school year. So for us, I don't file a notice of intent. My kids have never been in public schools. I've never had to withdraw them. So yeah, basically we don't do anything. I do keep track of stuff, and especially now my oldest, she's going to be going into high school next year. So we'll be keeping track of subjects and creating a transcript and stuff like that for her. So yeah. Okay. So now we can take a look at my planner and my binder, and I'll show you how I keep track of all that stuff. Okay, so let's get to the planner. This is my happy planner. I made it from a Minnie Mouse, they call it notebook, I guess. So I don't actually have like month calendars and weeks and stuff like that, just because especially with the pandemic, like we weren't going anywhere, and that just wasn't working for me anymore. I just didn't need it. I just needed a place to kind of write down if we had any appointments or anything like that. So yeah, so inside I just have a little thing, sticky notes. I have it's kind of silly. It's a haiku that I wrote about Lafayette. It was a converse. So my daughter was asking me what a haiku was, and she asked if we could make a Hamilton haiku. And Lafayette was the first person that popped into my head, so we made Lafayette haiku. So that's just so I have a couple different sections. I have a school section. I have a book section to keep track of my reading, and then I have a back here is kind of like my actual calendar section, which I need to put another divider in here. I gave one to my kids thinking I didn't need it, but I did, so I need to put another one in. So my school section, we just have a 2021 and a 2022 calendar, which I actually haven't, I circled our first day of school, but I haven't done anything else on here yet. I'll show you in my binder, in my mom binder, how I actually kind of track our days and stuff, which I do normally do it on here as well. It's kind of in two places, but I just haven't done it in here yet. Starting to keep a list of learning website passwords and usernames, because we always forget them. So I started planning out our botany lessons, and I just haven't. I never sat down and finished planning. Like I said, I don't plan anymore, and so I need to go back and write down what we did, which is what I'm going to do. I haven't done it yet. And then just a bunch of blank paper, second any notes I want to take, or if I want to make a list of read alouds for a certain thing, I can do that. In here, another folder. I keep little these are like book quotes and things like that about quotes about reading. These are quotes from books or about books to use in my book journaling. So this is just what I have for the year. Started out with a lot of time, and then I'm just pretty much making a list. So this is this month, which I have a couple more to write down that I finished. I keep a weekly cleaning schedule. I don't. This is where I need a divider. I used to follow this and it actually really worked. I really, really, really enjoyed this schedule. It worked really well for us, and then we kind of got off of it, and it's been hard to get back onto it, but I'd really like to. So basically, I've kind of like one task a day besides your daily stuff, like wiping down the counters and the dishes. Um, maybe sweeping up after dinner or sweeping up the kitchen at the end of the day, keeping the toys picked up out of the living room or whatever it is. And then like one specific task a day. And that really worked well for me. But yeah. So this is like my monthly thing, January, February, March. So just been writing down. So like March was all like events on Zoom or varsity tutors, things like that. Little drawings my daughter and I did. Yeah. So this month I just made like little fake sticky notes to keep track of like things that I had to do this month. Making a list of what I need to do next month. This is my YouTube channel planner. I created this document actually in Canva, which I love. I use that to create all my thumbnails and images and stuff like that. So I made myself a little calendar for that. And then I have these daily things in here, but I never use it. The last time I used it was the day we went to Boston, and I started just kind of trying to plan out the day, and then I never finished it. And then I just have a bunch of paper. And then this is stuff that I just need, that I'm done with. Like I was doing some journaling and things like that for the holidays, and I'm going to stick it in my old planner just to keep it, just old homeschool stuff. I did this last school year. I made kind of like every month, and where I could put down little things that I wanted to remember or whatever for that month while I was doing planning. So yeah, so that's that. Now I'll show you my binder. I'm not going to show you much of my binder just because I need to reorganize it, and I just haven't. And so a lot of it's not really stuff I'm using at all right now. I have a Jan Brett image. I love Jan Brett. I love her illustrations. So I printed this as a coloring sheet for my kids, and I thought it was really cute, so I just stuck it. All right, I got coffee. I just stuck it in front of my binder. So here is, I also keep a calendar in here. So this, you can see I'm keeping track of each day that we do school, and our, so at the end of each week, I just wrote how many days we did. Like here, I have written here a field trip and golf. So we didn't do school that day, but we did go to a dinosaur museum, and the girls played golf. So that counts as a school day for me. Something here, I underlined this. We did golf that day. We didn't go anywhere. The other random days we took off, and they were for random things. I don't even know. So yeah, so I need to finish the last couple days this week, but just gives me a good idea. The highlighted days are days that I know for sure that we're going to take off this year. And here you can see in parentheses, so the 30th through, you can see that the 3rd, that's the week I plan to take off. So normally we do 6 weeks on, 1 week off, but at this time, we're doing 8 weeks on and taking a week off. That's the week most of the public school kids go back to school. So we're going to take that week off. And then I have here like our next planned week off, which is basically the first full week of October, which works out pretty well to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in before Thanksgiving. So it actually seems to work pretty well. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. I don't have anything filled in for 2022 yet. If we stay on track, we should be able to finish school at the end of May, very beginning of June. So we'll see. I have in here my Principles of Mathematics 2 answer key. I just take this out of her book. My daughter actually, she would never look at the answer key, but I take it out just so I have it. So a lot of times she'll ask me for help or just want me to quickly check what she did. So it's easy for me to grab this and check it. She doesn't want to check it because she just wants to know, am I right? And then if she's wrong, she can go back and do it right. But also, so I'll show you, I also keep in here some notebook paper for myself. And a lot of times we just sit and do the problems together. And that really keeps her kind of on track and helps her just get through it faster if we're doing it together. So we do that a lot. Also this year I am checking her work. I've never checked her work before, only quizzes and tests. But this year I'm actually checking her daily worksheets. I'm not grading her on them, but I am checking them. So, so that's one thing that's new this year that we're doing. This is stuff, like I said, I haven't even finished setting this up for this school year. This is from last year, but I'll probably have my daughter be doing some of these. These were word shapes from language lessons for living education, word shapes for the spelling words. It's the answers, which I don't really need the answer key. I accidentally printed it. So I was like, well, I'm going to use it, but she does have some of the word shapes she didn't finish last year. So I'll probably have her do those anyway. This we do use is for IEW. This is, for the writing. This is like proofreaders marks, just because I forget them sometimes. MLA format, which I'm pretty good at, but I went ahead and printed that anyway to have a copy. These are just some random like reading lists that I've printed over the years, and I just stick them in there in case I want an idea of something. And then I have some folders, this is stuff that I haven't even gone through this year. I did stick this in here. This is for upcoming literature units for my oldest. These were some reading assessments my girls did at the end of the school year, so I'll probably do them again at the end of this year. I have this that I printed. It's from 1, 2, 3. Homeschool for me. I've used their printables since the very beginning. This is a book report printable. I'll probably have my 4th grader do this. My 8-year-old. She did one last year with a similar. I don't think she did this exact one. She did one that had a little less stuff in it. So I'll probably have her do this one this year, and then so write it out on here and then have her type some stuff too, probably, because she's really wanting to type. And I just have random things in here that's sometimes for my little guy to do. These are some little puppets. I actually made these. These are from my oldest. She had a fairy tale birthday party. I think for her 3rd birthday. I think 3rd or 4th birthday. So those were like from that. I have these little cutouts. I want to do like felt or magnets or something on the back of these. The dragons and knights and things like that. We have a copy of the Pledge of Allegiance. And these are all just random worksheets that I've printed and either we're half done or we just have never done. And I just stick those in there in case I need something extra for the kids to do. And then I just have some other like random art things. Same thing. Some color wheel activities. This is like a little composer study on Chopin. Yes, that's it. So anything that like extra stuff I find that I think, oh, we'll do this if we have time or whatever, I'll stick in here. This was actually really fun. The Spanish workbook I got for my oldest for this school year. I'll put a link to that video. I'll put a card up in the corner and a link down below. But the workbook, they had kind of like a battleship game, and you have to say the coordinates in Spanish. So it was kind of fun. We really enjoyed doing that together. Yeah, so like that's pretty much it. I don't do, like I said, I don't do a ton. So that's my mom binder. I hope that gave you a kind of good overview of how we plan, how we schedule. I don't think I talked about our like daily schedule. I kind of did, but we don't really have a schedule. It's more of like a flow to our day. We get up, we eat breakfast, we get dressed. Sometimes we start schoolwork hopefully by like 10-ish. Usually the younger ones are started by 10. My oldest is just slow in the morning, and you know how teenagers are. So, but that's okay because she knows the later she starts, the later she finishes. So it's on her. Yeah, and then we usually around noon, we take a break for lunch, and then anything that needs to be finished up in the afternoon, we do. And then the afternoons are open. We go to the library, we'll go outside if it's nice. May go over to now it's summer, may go over to a friend's house to swim. Or we just hang out in the air conditioning and I get housework done. The kids play video games, they read. We maybe if we like play board games. It's kind of just open until about 5 o'clock, which is when I start dinner. Um, so yeah, it really, and it varies every day. As far as what time we're done, what time, it really just varies. Obviously, my fourth grader is done usually way earlier than my eighth grader. Um, but usually I have her occupy the little guy while I work with my eighth grader. Because usually that's kind of like how it works out. Like my eighth grader does more for independent stuff while so I can work with the younger two. And then when they're done with school, then I can sit down and do stuff with her. And we all sit at the dining room table, even though we have this room. This room is really cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. So it's not comfortable in here for much of the year. And it's just not, we've gotten so many new bookshelves in here. I've had to take out the desks and everything. So it's just not comfortable for all of us to sit in here anymore. And it's easier to sit at the dining room table, spread everything out. I can sit in between the two girls or in between the younger two and help everybody all at the same time while I drink my coffee, because that's important. So that's it. I hope maybe you got some ideas, or just sometimes it's just good to see how other people do things, because you're like, oh yeah, well I do that too, and well now I know that that's okay to do, or whatever. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. So hit that subscribe button. I have lots of fun stuff coming up. I do have a book haul I'm going to film later today. I'm really excited about that. And I have a few other videos in the works. Next month, it's going to be all about, let's see, it is National Literacy Month in September. So next month, all our videos are going to be all about books. My kids are going to be talking about some of their favorite books. So definitely come back and check that out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.